Hey YouTube, Longboys Post 1975. This is video response to Stevebenway's Friday Talkie. I'll put a link to his channel in the doohickey down below. Pretty sure you know who he is anyway. Raises some really cool topics on his latest Friday Talkie. So I'm going to talk about them. One slightly more than the other. But yeah, he's talking like, do you remember a while back there were all these videos flying around the gaming community about, you know, is the gaming community dying? I mean, I did a video about it, basically saying no, it's not. The gaming community is not dying, evolving maybe. You know, stuff always moves in different directions. You know, it never stays in the same place for too long. You know, that's the pattern of anything in life. So yeah, I don't think it's dying. But what's interesting is he gets to look at this from a different window than most people, because he's got a retro gaming directory. You know, on his website, anyone who collects retro games or makes a video about retro games or has a collection, he adds them to this directory. Now obviously he's going to stay on top of this. You know, more people come along, he'll add them in. More people will stop making videos or shut their channel down, he'll remove them. So, you know, he gets to see like cold hard statistics, black and white, in front of him. And he says for the first time, you know, in like forever, a lot more people have been removed than they have been added. So he talks about, you know, maybe the gaming community isn't dying, but there's certainly some shrinkage. I'm sorry, I hate that phrase, shrinkage. But yeah, anyway. Sorry. So he's saying, yeah, he's noticed shrinkage, and he gives us his reasons why. He says, you know, is the gaming community, you know, oversaturated, so, or very difficult to make a name for yourself or have people watch you, you know, just get attention, so people, you know, kind of just like give up. You know, are there too many, you know, generic channels, you know, just talking about the same stuff, and they're all competing for the same sort of, for want of a better term, I can't think of any other one right now, but like airtime or whatever, and they're not getting it, so they're giving up, which is a very interesting point, which I'm going to talk about another channel who did a response to this. My mate Magnus, he talks about something epic, but you know, that he's noticed about that, but we'll get onto that in a minute. So, is the gaming community shrinking? So, what do I think about it shrinking? First of all, I think the gaming community is fine, you know, or the retro gaming community. I think it's absolutely fine. But when it comes to, you know, shrinkage, I'm going to break out one of my favourite phrases right now. It's all swings and roundabouts. It's all swings and roundabouts. Everything travels in circles, you know. Trends, fashion, other factors, life dictate on what people are going to do with YouTube. You know, life is a perfect example that you could be banging out videos left, right and centre and really plan on doing it, you know, indefinitely, and then life throws you a shitty hand and you have to stop. You know, there's nothing wrong with that. That's life. But then you've got the sense that fashion dictates what sort of channels pop up in various communities, you know. People will see a channel and think, I could do that, you know, like the retro gaming community. And there's nothing wrong with that, because I watched the channel and I thought, I'd like to see if I could do that, you know. But I think even though the retro gaming community is massive, I think that will still move back and forth, in the sense there will be other types of channels, you know. People who just think, hey, vlogging on a daily basis, just about life in general, that sounds cool, I'd like to do that. Or, you know, some of my favourite channels out there, the music comedy related channels, absolutely fantastic, you know. It will always depend on the mood people are in at the time, when they go like, hey, that's an awesome idea for a channel, I think I could do something about that. So I think to a degree that will determine, you know, the size of the community for whatever community you're in. You know, it will grow, it will shrink. As I said, it swings and roundabouts, you know. It's life, you know. There's a pattern to everything. You look at the community right now and it may have shrunk, but you know, if you look at it in a year's time, it may have grown, and you go back to it 2 years later, it may have shrunk again. You know, nothing's set in stone. Everything's affected by numerous, you know, sort of outside forces that will always determine, you know, the size of that community at the time, if that makes sense. Oh my god, that was a waffle, even by my standards. A really good point Steve makes is the gaming community too oversaturated? Are there too many people, you know, competing for an audience, you know, struggling to get their voices heard? And I think I think yes, there are. So I can see why these people get disillusioned and walk away. But this brings me to Sainted Magnus's awesome response to this video. I'll put a link in the doohickey down below to him as well. He's talking about, you know, the hierarchy of YouTube, and I never thought about this until he explained it, which is pretty much there is a tier system, there's a class system in YouTube. You got the absolutely massive guys. You got the big guys, you got the middle guys, and you got the little guys, of which I am one. And YouTube is so obsessed with promoting the top two groups because that's where they make their money. They don't care about the bottom two groups. Leads me back to Steve's comment, which is I can understand why people get disillusioned and walk away and the community shrinks. And Saint Magnus also points this out, and this is true for me as well. The hardest group of subs you will ever get are your first 100. I know that people have probably walked away from YouTube with many, many more than that, which brings me back to my life, you know, point. But the hardest group of subs you will ever get is your first 100. It shapes your channel. It shapes your outputs. It shapes your personality on YouTube. And I honestly believe that if you can make it through those first 100 subs, then that's it. You're committed. You know, you're in this, and your content will be awesome. I've thought that for a long time. I've never really vocalized it before, but yeah, if you make it through the first 100 subs, yeah, you know, then that's it. Job done. You're a channel that most people will watch because you've persevered. You know, you've put up being the little guy that no one even hears. And I don't care what anyone says. If 100 subs is a big deal on YouTube. So yeah, that's what I think. The gaming community is not dying. It's not going anywhere. You know, it may shrink. It'll expand again. You know, there's forces at play, swings and roundabouts. It's a journey. It's a circle. You know. Now, I'm not going to talk as much about the next point Steve brought up because I've thought this for a long time. You know, gaming formats and stuff like, you know, where Sony's going. You know, what Sony's doing now. What Microsoft are doing now. This whole, you know, like, you download your content or whatever. Like that pisses me off because I've always been from day one. I want a physical copy of something that I can stick on my shelf and I can stare at. That's what I want. And it's almost like they feel that they have the power to shape, you know, the games industry to where they want it, but they seem to forget something really important. It's our industry more than it's their industry. You know, we pay their wages. You know, so don't tell me that this is where it's going. It's like, no, sunshine. This isn't where it's going. It's going to go where I want it to go because I am your customer. And at the end of the day, my voice should be heard. And that's the problem, isn't it, with modern marketing? They know best. It's do as I say, not do as I do. And it pisses me off, you know. And like with the way game formats are going, the whole, don't get me started on, my first video was around about this, Electronic Arts with their whole, you know, you buy a game, you get an online code, only you can use it. You know, it's like, what, I can't share my games? The whole thing about gaming from day one, which I swear to God they're trying to drum out and kill, is gaming is, it's group based. You know, it's something you do with your friends. To say like, right, that's your game, you just bought that, well done, only you can use it, only you can go online. You're kind of pissing on chips there. You know, you're kind of missing the point of what made gaming so popular in the first place, and that's kind of the group interaction thing. So where it's going right now, really, it's sad. You know, it's pissing me off, and it's a sad day for games and gamers. Now, I understand the need to protect your format or, you know, your property. I'm not arguing with that, you know. I don't believe in piracy. Piracy does affect the gaming industry, it does damage it, you know. I'm not arguing about that. But there's a way to go, you know. I mean, look at the price of Modern Warfare 3. It was 42 quid. You know, it's pushing the best part of half a ton. That's disgraceful for one game. Don't get me wrong, I love it, and I love the single player campaign, but the single player campaign's like, what, 5.5 hours, and you feel the need to charge that much money for it? It's, you aren't helping yourselves, you know. I think, honestly, if you took a fair stance on prices, you looked at how much it costs you to develop and produce the game, and then tacked on a certain amount to make profit, but didn't blatantly take the piss, You wouldn't antagonise your market to the point where they feel the need to get your game another way. And I honestly believe that. I honestly think a lot of people who pirate are just fed up of being fleeced of their cash. And I really think the gaming manufacturers could help themselves, you know, by, well, basically not taking the piss on their prices. You know, and the other thing they don't help themselves with, this whole restricting one person to go online, blah 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 blah, you know, code, you shouldn't be allowed to resell your game, it's harming the game industry, that's bollocks. The way I see it is simple. You know, when you push at someone, when you push and push at someone, you know, it's like when you're a kid at school, authority, no one likes being told what to do. When you actively push at someone, they will push back. You know, that's human nature. So instead of pushing at someone and poking at them, work with them. Work with them, you know, throw them a bone. I'm not saying I want a game for free, I'm not saying that, but I'm saying I want a game at a reasonable price. If you release it at a reasonable price so I can go to the store and buy it at what I consider, you know, a decent price, then I ain't going to go out of my way to pirate it, am I? You know, because why would you? Just walk to the store and buy it. So I've always thought gaming companies have missed this. And the other one I want to say, and this is more on movie releases, but the other thing I honestly think you could do to cut down on piracy is simply make every single release date for whatever product you sell universal across the globe. You know, way back in the day, DVDs in North America came out when the movie was still in the theatres in the United Kingdom. So people would buy it online, record it, and sell it on VHS, you know. Universal, job done, problem fixed, you know, done. So I just, with this gaming format thing, I honestly believe that the more a company pushes at people, the more they piss them off and they will push back. You know, show them a little bit of respect and you'll be amazed at how far it goes. So yeah, that's my response to Stevebenway's Friday Talkie. Once again, I've probably waffled for too long and talked quite a lot of bollocks, and it probably got away from me. But as always, thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you later.